Hey, my name is Trent, and I will walk you through the way I see it. The way I see it is a writing strategy that's intended to strengthen the understanding of bias and also have students examine important events from history from various viewpoints. We know from teaching history that historical events are evaluated based on the perspective in which they're viewed. And so various perspectives for certain events can skew the event and can cause us to view it in certain ways. And perspectives and viewing things from certain lenses can cause us to be biased. So this particular strategy teaches students to view events in history and events from the past with diverse perspectives and from various lenses. We know that experiences that we have in our lives build associations and cause us to view things differently. So again, the strategy is intended to teach students to view things from various perspectives. So the way it is accomplished is students are asked to write from the perspective of 2 to 3 characters that have been impacted by a particular event in the unit of study. Students will use the way I see it talk bubbles template to record their responses. This is the template. As you can see, we have 3 characters in the basic template, and there are 3 bubbles, and this is where they write their answers. Let's work through an example together. The topic is westward expansion. We have 3 characters. We have folks that traveled to out west. We have a chief of a Native American chief from an Indian tribe that had settled out west. And then we have John O'Sullivan. So we'll start out with the travelers. And so a traveler, after traveling through the treacherous mountains right before reaching California, would probably say something like this. After traveling on this way for several days, we beheld the first time the long sought for plains of California. So this speaks about the difficult journey to make it out west, and so it's providing that perspective that although the benefits were great, the risk was also great, and it was a treacherous journey. So next is the perspective of the Native American chief, and the Native Americans gave up their land thinking that they would have peace, but they were mistaken. So the Native American chief would probably say something like this: for a short time, we lived quietly, but then they found gold in the mountains. They stole a great many horses and drove off our cattle. We gave up our land so we could have peace, but we were mistaken. And then we have our last character, John O'Sullivan, who actually coined the phrase manifest destiny. And he would likely say something like, our manifest destiny is to overspread the continent. And then he actually said 250 million or 300 million destined to gain beneath the flutter of the stripes and stars. So you can see we have 3 various perspectives: the travelers, the Native Americans, and then John O'Sullivan. So this is intended, again, to teach students how to view events in history from multiple perspectives so that they can understand bias and they can understand how our associations and experiences can shape the lenses in which we see a historical event and can cause us to view it in subjective ways. So here's an example from my class. This is from an actual student. The topic was human settlement. So we have a character that settled in Birmingham, a character that settled in Pittsburgh, and a character that settled in Timbuktu. So you can see their different perspectives on what caused them to go to those particular places. And that's what we have here as well. And then you can do this on large paper. You can put students in groups and have them do this together on large canvas paper. The particular topic in this example was the impact of El Nino. So we have a fisherman from Peru, we have a farmer, we have a grocery store shopper. So some tips is be sure to have students identify the person or group for each perspective. So make sure that, of course, they know who the character is. And then you can, to make this more difficult, more rigorous for advanced students, you can have them write 1 to 2 reasons why that person would have that particular perspective. So whatever they wrote in the bubble, you can ask that student to provide the reasons why. So you can extend this and make it more rigorous for your advanced students. In conclusion, the way I see it is intended to help students recognize bias. It's intended to help them see how their own experiences and associations help form their bias and their perspectives. And it helps them to see multiple and various perspectives in historical events. It's also intended to help them write from the perspective of another character.